Good morning, guys. Today is some day in January. I want to say it's like the 23rd. I don't know. I've been off work for the last few days, so I'm kind of out of whack a little bit. So anyhow, I haven't given you guys a reef tank video in what, 4, 6, 7 months, something ridiculous, and for that I'm sorry. A lot's changed in the last 6 months again. In the process of recycling the 75 gallon with a bunch of new equipment. I'll show you guys that here in a video to come. I've got almost a year update for the 45 gallon tank that my wife and I put together. But this is a topic I wanted to show you guys because you would think someone who's been in the hobby going on 5 years now that I would have learned my lesson. So when I started over the tanks last year, I was like, okay, quarantining everything. After my big tank crash, I lost all my big beautiful corals in the 75. I lost all my fish. I had bubble algae, aptasia. I don't even know what else to say, but basically the massive crash. I was like, okay, I'm gonna quarantine fish. I'm gonna quarantine corals. Minimum of 3 weeks for each of those. My fish I've quarantined in the past, and I already have a procedure that I feel is successful. But corals I've never quarantined before. Well, when I restarted the 75, I got a little excited prematurely and started just putting fish and corals in the tank. Everything was good for a while. It took the corals a little while to start taking off, but when they did all right. I was pleased. And then my fish lost 2 tangs to ick, something that's, in my opinion, preventable if you quarantine properly all your fish, and you can at least keep it out of the system. So I lost 2 tangs, lost blue throat trigger, copper band, pair of black ice clowns, I think I had a hawkfish in there at one point. I lost a red dragonette. That guy jumped, which was, I guess you can't help that. Oh wait, I didn't have my screen tops on. So I lost 2 clown wrasses. I want to say there was something else, but anyhow, I lost a lot of fish. And I lost my hippo tank that I had for the last 3 years. Which that wasn't a hick, that was just something else. So anyhow, I lost all those, and then I got bryopsis in the tank. Couldn't get rid of it. I got bubble algae in the tank. Couldn't get rid of it. I started showing signs of aptasia again. And then what really tipped the scales for me is my Mystic Sunset and my blue polyp green money cap and my Jedi Mind Trick and my Superman money all started having white spots appear on them as bite marks. So I assumed it was Montipora eating nudibranch. Every time I went down, I couldn't see them though. But you know what? That was it. I'm breaking down the system. I had about 100 pounds of Pucani in my garage. I started curing that in a trash can. I took out all the rock, bleached it for about 2 weeks, and it's now in the tank with the new aquascape. I'll show you guys that later. Well, what coral I could save went into the quarantine system over here to my left. And it's going to be in there until the tank's ready, as well as any coral that I get from now on. Minimum 3 weeks, probably a month before they ever get introduced into my tank. The only thing that's probably not going to go through quarantine is going to be my cleanup crew, and I'm going to try my best to get an appropriately sized cleanup crew for my tank on the get-go. Get them in there a week or 2 before I introduce any fish, so if they do have anything on them, it dies off, or I can get them out of the tank. Not a big deal. That's my plan, because let's be realistic, it's not completely feasible to have 3 quarantine systems for me at this time, and I just don't think I could do it anyway, even if I did. Yeah. But yeah, let's take a look at my quarantine system. I got my... Alright guys, so this is a look at my quarantine setup in my office. I no longer have the office tank. I decided to use the space in the room for my quarantine setup. And so this is what I came up with. It's a 2-tiered setup with 10-gallon tanks. Corals on top just because it's easier to have the high intensity light on top and then the fish on the bottom. The quarantine system for the corals is a little dirty right now. Just got some algae growing on the glass, but I do have a couple snails in there which should eat it. I'm also honestly not too concerned with it. It's helping remove nutrients. I've done one water change on this for about, I think I did 2 gallons? 1 or 2 gallons, I don't remember. And right now I'm not dosing anything, just salt changes. You'll notice some of the corals have browned out, and that is because I used to have my Kessel A380 on there, and I was getting, like, on that top shelf right there, I was getting like 50 par, which for SPS isn't enough. And so they browned out, and I since got a more powerful light. I got the Aqua Night LED light. It was like $60 on Amazon. And now they're getting like 200 and something par. So they'll bounce back. So what I've done is I obviously just put a couple power heads and a heater in there. The power heads are controlled by a high-door wave maker, just something simple, 2 AC power heads, each doing 425 gallons or 450 gallons an hour, whatever they're rated for. The light, and then an Aqueon Pro heater, which you can't see because it's black, and that's what I wanted. And then I made a couple of frag racks. So that's about it. I do top off manually because at this time I haven't really found an auto top off solution that I can feel is affordable for the for a quarantine tank, as well as low profile. That's the big part. But yeah, so what I've done is all the corals went in here after a pretty vigorous dip. They went in here, and then the ones that I knew had issues, the Monis all over there. A couple days later, they had a dip. I think and then a few days after that, they've had a dip. I think I've done 3 or 4 dips on the Monis since they have been in here, and then a few of the acros. I put a few in my wife's tank, and obviously they got dipped. I fragged them and then put them in the back in here, so they've had a dip also. I haven't lost any corals since they've been in here. There's a few that aren't happy, but they'll bounce back. I have no doubt about that. And here's the fish tank. So fish quarantine, got a little coral insert in a raffle where I won a Pico tank. It's like a 5-gallon Pico tank. And so I figured, hey, that's going to be pretty perfect for a quarantine system. The quarantine system is also very simple. Just a couple pieces of PVC, that insert, and then for some fish that like sand, also to give it some biological filtration, I have a little tub of sand. The reason it's in the tub is it's easy to take out if I ever need to for maintenance or cleaning, or just don't need it. I have an Aqua Clear power filter on there. Right now it just has a sponge in it that was sitting in the 45-gallon tank for the last few weeks, getting a bunch of beneficial bacteria. And then it has an Aqueon heater in the back, which you can see. And then it has a single Corellia nano pump. The light is just a cheap Marineland one that came, I want to say it came with the 45-gallon. I don't know where I got it from. These fish have been in here almost 24 hours. These are my, let's see, the store had them labeled as Mocha Sunset Snowflake Ocellaris clowns. I wanted Picasso clowns, but it was $160 for the pair, and the wife was not having it. So I got these guys. They're pretty good size, pretty healthy. They spent the first 24 hours in here without any treatment, just because I wanted to make sure they got acclimated okay and were doing okay. And then actually just a few minutes ago, before making these videos, I put a milliliter of cupramine in there. They'll do cupramine for 5 to 7 days, depending on how I feel. I know my LFS, they say they put cupramine in their fish systems. So I'll probably have these guys just do it for 5 days. And then I'll do a water change, probably about 50, and throw some carbon in there, 50%, and I'll throw some carbon in there, get any of the cupramine out, and then I'll do a Prazi-Pro treatment for a week, do a water change, and then just a week or 2 of observation until the tank's ready. So yeah, this is it. This is my simple quarantine system, and this is how I plan on attacking things. I'm really going to work on being patient. That's kind of my new. I don't want to say New Year's resolution, but that is my new approach: is being patient with adding livestock to my tanks, because I've gotten lucky on the 45, but the 75 for whatever reason is not playing ball. So anyhow, I hope you guys like this video. I'll give you some updates in the future. Thanks. Bye.